So we're going to start with development of management thought. So there are three schools of management. Uh, One is early classical, second is neoclassical, and third is modern. In early classical, we have thinkers like Taylor with scientific management, Fayol, administration, and Weber with bureaucracy. In neoclassical, we have human relations approach, which has Hawthorne and Maslow. And after human relations approach, we have behavioral approach, which has thinkers like Herzberg, Chris Agaris, Douglas McGregor. And in modern, we have quantitative, systems approach, and after this, contingency. So what is classical approach? Classical approach was devised based on early industrial practices, mostly during industrial revolution. It starts with Taylor, who gave scientific management. He's the father of scientific management, and he gave five principles, which is time and motion study, incentive based pay, functional foremanship, which is nothing but foreman should decide what workers should do. He basically gave specialized tasks to people. Then coordination and friendly relations between workers and people, workers and supervisor. And last one is scientific recruitment and training. There are also other thinkers like Gantt, who gave Gantt chart. Black shows completion, and red shows pending. He basically worked upon incentive system, and he so if a worker completes more than required for the day, he gets bonus. If a certain fraction of workers or all workers, let us say, complete, then foreman gets bonus. So everybody wanted to produce more for bonus. Then there was Gilbert's. They did motion studied body motions to improve efficiency, and they also gave a unit called Therblix, which is just reverse of this name, and find out there are total 17 such movements. Then administrative thought. It was given by Fayol. He followed it was for top management, unlike Taylor, which was for flow shop workers. According to Fayol, organization had 5 divisions: commercial, financial, account, security, and management. And he gave 14 principles. Starting division of work, authority and responsibility, unity of command. It means goals should be aligned. All subordinates must take order from a single supervisor, else there will be no clarity in their roles. So I should write it as one supervisor. Unity of direction. This is alignment of goals. Like, people should have goals which are not conflicting in nature. Then there is remuneration, which means fair pay. Subordination of individual interest to organizational goal. Stability of tenure. Order, equity, scalar chain, innovation, and esprit de corps, which is unity. And centralization or decentralization, depending on the organization. So these principles can also be called as universalistic because they apply to every organized effort. Degree may change, but principles are more or less same. So contribution is he gave a top down model, unlike Taylor, which was bottom up. It was for top level management. Focused on specialization. Limitation. So, not scientifically proven. Successful organizations have greater than 6 supervisors also, and it is very mechanistic. Third is bureaucracy, which was given by Weber. So, according to Weber, there are three sort of organizations. One is traditional, where leader is chosen by birth. Second is leader oriented, where there is no formal delegation as such. And third is bureaucracy, by ability. So, what is bureaucracy? It has 5 points. They have standard, which means that it follows institution cult rather than personality cult. Standard rules, division of work, training for legitimacy, contribution is logical extension of management in large scale organization, where people from heterogeneous backgrounds are to be trained and controlled. Limitations are bug passing, strict adherence to rules rather than goals. This is also known as automation, professional automation. Then third is sub-optimization. Means departmental goals take precedence over organization goals. Conformity to rules. Very static or rigid. And neglect to informal groups. They don't reject, now this is the second school of thought. They don't reject classical, but they refine classical. Starts with human relations, and the first person who started this was Elton Mayo with Hawthorne experiments. For Western Electric, and there are total four Hawthorne experiments: illumination, relay assembly, interview, and bank wiring. So the first experiment was illumination experiment, where they tried to check relation between productivity with illumination, that is lighting, and they did not find any direct relation as such of productivity and illumination. So next they did relay assembly test, where they tried to check the relationship of productivity with illumination plus other factors being pauses between work and length of working day, working conditions, and what they found was productivity was not dependent on illumination or working conditions. Even when bad conditions were reintroduced, productivity increased, then stabilized. It could be because girls had feeling of importance, warm relations between team, supervisor was friendly, and cohesion among group. After this, they went for interviewing, where they first started with structured interview, but workers were guarded, so they started with unstructured interview. And what came out was relevance of informal groups. So now they wanted to study informal groups, so they did bank wiring test, where they find out that there are informal norms amongst members for production. If you produce more than this, then you're called rate buster. If you produce less than this, then you're called chiseler. And members are often boycotted. Now, behavioral school is a part of neoclassical school. It starts with thinkers like Douglas McGregor, who gave theory X and Y. X means worker dislike job, doesn't want to do it. Y means he seeks responsibility. He wants to do the job. Second one would be Herzberg, gave motivation and hygiene factors. So, hygiene factors are factors which are essential to get workers motivated, but they are not directly increasing motivation. If you will not have these, they won't be motivated, but if you have these, it doesn't ensure their motivation. So, these factors are working condition, policy, salary. Then motivating factors are those which directly increase motivation, which is recognition, growth. Then we can have Abraham Maslow also in this. So Maslow gave a hierarchy of needs. It has basic needs, food and shelter. This is physiological needs, safety, then belongingness, also talk about contribution and limitations. So contribution of this thing, it disagrees with economic model of man. Second contribution is it relevance of informal groups was highlighted. Then democratic environment leads to efficiency. It also lead organization not merely techno-economic but social. Limitations are that informal group can make tasks can make day pleasurable, not task. All emphasis on informal needs. Material needs are also there. Would not work in emergency. third and last school of thought is modern. The first technique or approach is quantitative, which is basically operational research started during World War II. Logical or quantitative models for finding time or input needed. Then there is systems approach, which highlights that any organization is a set of components. It has four features. Number one, system is a set of interdependent paths. It has a task, which is its purpose. It has a structure, which is formal division of work. Then it has people, which are its employees, and after this it has technology. Second part is holism, which is system is not complete without its parts, and parts are not complete without the system. There is interdependence. Then a system has boundary, can be open or closed, well defined set of activities, divides system from environment. Start and end are clear. And system can be open or closed. But all organization depend on external environment for transformation process. System also add synergy, which means sum is greater than parts, and feedback, which means output can be used to reconfigure the inputs. Now, contribution of this approach is equifinality. If we vary inputs, we can accomplish outputs. Limitation is require generalism. Our last approach is contingency view, which means depending on situation we can choose management style. It can be a mix of two or more styles. Task of manager is to identify which style suits best. Situational sensitivity will lead to practical selectivity. Contribution of this view is balanced, effective in specific cases. And limitations are requires greater understanding and trade-offs.